the very first ITEE TechTalk event titled The Digital Transformation and Future. Today's topic, digital transformation, is a commonly used buzzword. We'll be having 30 minutes of panel discussion, after which the session will be opened for QA.
Good afternoon to everybody. I'm very proud that we could conduct such a event, which will help not only our members, others too. I welcome everybody, and I'm hand over the mics to Mr. Rubish.
IT stands for IT Expert and Engineers. It is currently the largest technology group in the Middle East. That IT actually formed in 2014 with a small group of IT professionals in the Saudi Arabia. Later, we have extended beyond the border, like Bahrain, GCC, other GCC, Qatar, Kuwait, Dubai, everywhere. Now, IT is having this largest technology group, as I told you before.
We will have a 30 minutes panel discussion, and it will be controlled by the moderators, Mr. Shajil Melatul and Mr. Riaz Ibrahim.
Yeah, thank you for that great introduction, Mr. Rubish. Digital transformation. I mean, it's very hectic word, right? I mean, people are talking about this word tremendously. And the reason we are here on different part of the world under one umbrella is just because of this transformation. And for today, we have a great panelist, where they are going to talk about digital transformation and its opportunities. And to lead this show, I'm not alone here. I have a very charming host with me. His name is Riaz Ibrahim. He is an expert in the field of IT and database. And let me introduce Riaz Ibrahim to this podium.
Thank you, dear Shajil, for that rousing, electrifying start and introduction. It's a pleasure to be here with you, especially our chief guests today. Well, we are all in the same path today, the path of learning. And today, we have the chance to learn from the selected experts of 5 important panelists, our best of the best for today's first episode of TechTalk. So with more waiting, let's introduce our TechTalk panelists. Our first panelist, number 1, Mr. Ubaidullah Chiram Todiga. Mr. Ubaidullah Chiram Todiga is a senior most active ITEE member and a seasoned IT executive with 25 years of industry experience, an entrepreneur and an investor of building and managing technology startups. He's the co-founder of many organizations. He's the co-founder of Iradat Investments, an ethical investment advisory company. He's the co-founder of Maya Clinic, the first online clinic in the Middle East. Co-founder of CA Info Solutions, and also the co-founder of eTutor. His leading designations include country manager, regional channel and sales manager, regional manager, and territory manager. Of course, this tells his seniority, and he is an encyclopedia of expertise we have in ITEE. Let's welcome our first panelist, Mr. Ubaidullah Chiram Todiga. Our panelist number 2, Mr. TP Sharafuddin. He is a member of ITEE UAE chapter. Mr. TP Sharafuddin, another senior most ITEE member. He is a UAE resident Indian, again, with 25 big experience, vast experience in information technology business, market strategies, and e-learning industry. He is a technology communist, writer, speaker, and social entrepreneur. He's the CEO of TextMedia.com, the exclusive technology news media organization closely working with Middle East and African governments, university and technology, industry giants. He is the mission director of Corvus Learning Initiative Dubai, founder and chief evangelist of Sharaf Strategy Consultants. a big leader for ITEE. Let's all welcome our second panelist, TP Sharafuddin. Our panelist number 3, Mr. Abdul Majid, he is from ITEE Bahrain chapter. Having more than 15 years of experience in IT industry with proficiency on storage systems, backup server technologies, infrastructure monitoring tools, VMware, Hyper-V, etc., Nutanix servers, IP telephony, Active Directory, Exchange Server, and Office 365. He have industry certifications in networking such as A+, Network Plus, MCSE, MCSA, MCTS, MCITP, and CCNA. A perfect networks technical expert for ITEE. Let's welcome our third panelist, TP Abdul Majid. Our fourth panelist, our chief guest for today, Mr. Munir Burhan. We have been talking about 25 years of expertise. Now, this gentleman is having 30 years of IT experience. Started his career as a programmer, faculty, IT manager, and ERP specialist. 23 years of exclusive experience in Microsoft Dynamics ERP with 45 plus live projects deployed as a consultant and project manager. He's an expert in Microsoft Dynamics, certified Microsoft Dynamics 365. Let's welcome our fourth panelist, our chief guest, Mr. Munir Burhan. Well, last but not least, our fifth panelist, Sheikh Salim. Mr. Sheikh Salim is an ITEE member and currently in UAE. He's a Bachelor of Engineer, former head of IT, Yanapava University, Mangalore. He's a former IT head for Riyadh ELM University. Currently, he's the director of Tech Proxima UAE. He also worked as a chief technology officer in innovative scientific technology Saudi Arabia and IT education and health informatics company. A very charming personality, also having good roots in both Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates. Let's all welcome our fifth panelist, TP Sheikh Salim. Well, we are sure that all our guests who has joined today is very eager to get started. So let's begin our panel discussion. Our first question is to Mr. Ubaidullah. Mr. Ubaidullah, let's put it this way. There are lots of talks happening in digital transformation, digital transformation, digital transformation. What we mean by so-called digital transformation, Mr. Ubaidullah.
Assalamu alaikum. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope I'm audible. Right. Thank you so much, Riyadh, Shajil, Sajid Bhai, Munib, for initiating such a great, program under ITEE, and we are so happy that we are kicking off today. And I'm also so honored and privileged to be a part of the first show. And thank you so much for the question, one of the very exciting one. And basically, digital transformation is something that we are using a digital technology to set a new product for a services or a process to enhance the customer experiences. By knowingly or unknowingly, I believe we are all part of it, and we are participating in it on a day-to-day basis. And most of those technology elements that some of the speakers has been mentioned, like cloud, AI, all that is going to help us to transfer, to deploy the digital transformation effectively in the enterprise or in the market. Yeah. If you look at digital transformation, there are companies, they are running on a digital technologies like Amazon, Airbnb. Those companies has been invented based on a technology products and services, and they've been expanded globally using technology product and services. They don't have a physical probably set of things with them, but they operate their business across the globe through a digital platforms. Yeah, so that is what exactly. So using a technology or a product integrated together to help the customers or business owners to roll out new services. That is what exactly my understanding about a digital transformation. And as I said, knowingly or unknowingly, we are a part of it. We are heavily engaged on it. So we just need to identify ourselves. Yeah, we are a part of it. We need to liberate that benefits, and also we need to be cautious. How do we interact when we are into such a situation, right? So this is what I would like to present, or I would like to highlight how the digital transformation is happening. I hope I answered.
Yeah, thank you for that, Ubaidullah.
Right. I know there is a time limitation, so I'm not elaborating further. Probably we could elaborate further on the Q&A session, or if there is a time permit. Yeah.
Exactly, because it's a very vast subject, definitely.
So thank you.
But we are,
yeah,
we are
exactly.
very limited with the time, definitely. So
Right.
next question
Thank you
to
very
me
much.
from
Back to moderator.
yeah, thank you for that, Ubaidullah. That was a nice answer from your side. So next question from my side to our chief panelist, Abdul Majid. So let me ask you, Abdul Majid. Ubaidullah was telling, like, unknowingly or knowingly, we are part of this digital transformation, or we are part of the change. By knowingly or unknowingly, we have to be part of the change. So what do you think? What are the opportunities that digital transformation brings in this world? How we say today world is better with this term, so-called digital transformation.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity to say some words about this digital transformation. When we speak about the opportunity which brings by this digital transformation, we have to see it from both service providers and customers. If we think about a company and it's an individual. So from the perspective of service providers, it will be helping the business to be more transparent to the customers, and it will provide the opportunity to give high quality service within limited time. When we think about customer side, they are always thinking about where they will get fast and quality services, even without any kind of physical interaction. So the digital transformation mostly coming into that point for most of the business. Nowadays, we all prefer to do everything online. And as we are well aware, which not limited to the education or purchase or any kind of financial services, everything now it's coming into online service. I wish to give two examples for this kind of services. One is in Bahrain. I could notice one of the leading bank. They started one parallel service which is named as digital banking service. It is highly acceptable, and customers are highly prefer to go for that banking sector. They don't have any branches or physical interactions. So also one more thing which you will be more familiar is the application Talabat. It's very familiar now in GCC, which made the change in the industry of restaurants, where the digitalization came. So these two I wish to bring to your attention, those examples which give more opportunity for the businesses and for the customers, where they can interact very easily and making their life easier. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Abdul Majid. Mr. Abdul Majid, thank you for your words. Well, it's time to bring our chief guest, Mr. Munir Burhan. Mr. Munir Burhan, there was a time 20 years back, I was not using a SIM card, and probably most of you would not have been using a SIM card. We were not even using debit cards. For banking, we directly used to go to banks. And business was still happening. Now, Mr. Munir Burhan, what stage in the transformation journey would you find more business? Whether it's in the transforming, whether it's the transformed or still old-fashioned. Mr. Munir Burhan, the stage is yours.
Thank you, moderator, for that nice question. Before beginning to digital transformation, I mean, basically, it all started in 1940s. I mean, you must be aware about calculator and things so on. Things have come like telex, then fax, and so on, computer. I'm in the era of a person where from character user interface to graphical user interface. But here, when it comes to business, adopting to digital transformation is very challenging. When you say, if you consider that SME enterprise, I mean, small and medium-sized business organization. There is a lot of scarcity in it. People, they don't go. Like if you take an example of STC, it took time for bringing the SIM to common people. Of course, I'm using my SIM, the same number, since 24 years in the kingdom. But vividly, those days, it was like, very few were having the mobile. People use webcam in the mobile. That was very scary. So in a nutshell, I can say large-scale industries are very much focused on digital transformation. They're adopting it, like banks and manufacturing and so on, various domains, they're using it. A medium or imbalanced, like, few are going, there are budgetary concerns and so many things are there. Small, I can say they're not going, but I can say they have transformed to some extent by force. Like in KSA, most of the things, government activities like banking payments and processing of government things are done mandatory. So once the government or the country or the corporate enforce it, then it becomes mandatory. In those stages, they are transformed. Otherwise, the big chunk is that like 60 to 75%, we are almost like transferring to the new digital era. There are a lot of things in this, but it takes time. It takes time. As Bill Gates and our Apple past CEO, he said they had a vision. Today, the tech guys like you and me, we have visions which we are transforming to the digital era. Things, what they have seen those days are coming up now. Adopting to it, it is a culture, it's a transformation of culture which is happening, and it will take time. And definitely, we are nowhere close that we can say majority are adopting to this digital transformation. Back to you, moderator. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Munir Burhan. My next question to TP Sharaf.
Yes.
Sharaf, actually, yeah, just a bit time ago, Mr. Abdul Majid was referring an application that Talabat. Actually, I was using that while I was in Bahrain, like the one we have, like Hunger Station or Souk, for example. Actually, the customer, digital transformation is giving something to the customer, then customer is trying to use that, and then customer demands more to digital transformation, then that has to be derived. So of course there is a what you call comparison between customer demand and digital transformation. So what do you think, how customer driving digital transformation? And I'm sure you will have some few experience from this topic. So could you please share from your experience?
Okay, good afternoon to everybody. Thank you, Mr. Shajil. In fact, see, the digital transformation, the word, the buzzword people are started using in the very recent days. As rightly Mr. Munir Burhan mentioned here, technology implementation started long back. It is actually 1940s onwards. But when now the recent days, especially after 2000 or maybe after 2010, now it is not just an implementation of technology, it became a culture. That is a remarkable change compared to the previous days happened in the industry. So the culture, the driving force of this culture transformation, that is leading by the customer itself. That is an important factor. Otherwise, it will talk. We may talk again advanced technology implementation or complex technology implementation or IoT implementation. These are the same. But when the word came, the digital transformation, that people started using the word, when the technology became the part and parcel of our daily life, and it is deeply influencing our all habits, preference, and the entire culture. So, for example, I want to bring into your attention that very recently, around a few years back, Stanford University designed a brilliant management tool. It's called design thinking. The design thinking, there are five, 6 elements. So they are mentioning the first part is empathize. So what it means, empathize. When you develop develop a product, or when you want to forecast a design a project, first you should empathize not your technology, not your expertise, not your brand, not your company. Instead, the interest of the customer. So when we are designing, when we are starting empathizing the feeling, the preference and interest of the customer, from there onwards, the technologists are starting to think, how can we make more customer oriented, customer centered, customer friendly system? Then definitely for example, the buying habit, and the customer care, and another one, the customer grievance hearing, and that make them actually that no more beautiful customer what we call experience. So when a system completely designed based on the customer interest, then a new culture will be just like our human civilization started. We started first, later religion and another literature, many other things came. Just like in the technology segment also, based on the customer, a new culture is emerging. So customers are the core driving force behind the digital transformation. Yeah.
Thank you, Teacher Sharad, for that wonderful answer for our question. It's time to bring one of our leader and the charming ITEE member, as always, for ITEE, Mr. Salim Sheikh, our next panelist. Mr. Salim Sheikh, Sheikh Salim, data is always an important and vital part of digital transformation. Well, when we say about data, data is information and information is wealth. Can you tell us the role of data and handling the data in digital transformation world from your expertise, Mr. Sheikh Salim?
First of all, thank you, Mr. Riaz and Shajil for this massive event. I really wish all the best for your future endeavors on same line. So coming to your question, obviously data is essential to digital transformation because we live in a hyper-connected ecosystem where every interaction results in massive data sets being generated. The consumption and usage of data has significantly changed over the years. Now, I really want to come to my own practical experience because I've been working in healthcare industry from past 15 years. So one of the experience in Riyadh, one of the universities, one of the private universities, been like this. So a couple of doctors were asking, I'm just coming into the between these implementation. Salim, I need some of the patient data. Like I want to know this case for particular cases coming in which month. I need to know, like for example, in a dental practice, I need to know the root canal treatment. When are the most treatment happening among the year? So I told, look, I can give all this kind of inputs, data, provided I have the input real electronic data. Now, currently, at 2010, they were using a paper file. So I told, unless we digitize those entire paper file into data, we cannot really come up with kind of research data for you. So before we really go into data transformation or to use the data for ML or research or business intelligence, we have one more step before that. That is you convert paper environment to paperless environment from where we really draw the data, right? Do you agree with me? You see, so 2010 we started this digital transformation. I had to talk to the management. Okay, this is what we are going to achieve in this many years, and this would be the advantage. Like you will be getting research data, you will be getting data for your X-ray. Now, for example, currently the systems are available like, as such. You know, when you take an X-ray, you wouldn't need a help of a radiologist. A machine learning thing would give you a first and second and third opinion. So these are all the results of data already available in a electronic form. So my experience in Riyadh College has been like, okay, from 2010, there were around 22-page file. We converted the entire file into digital, And there are a lot of pain points for the students, for the patients, for the doctors. So all have been addressed. So one by one. So this is, as a IT experts, I think wherever you see people use paper, that's where our opportunity is. You go there, you sell that, look, future is lying on digital transformation. But before that, you need to convert this paper environment to paperless environment. I hope I have addressed your question. Back to you, Riyaz.
Thank you for that, Sheikh Salim. That was a great answer. I mean, great definition, I would say. Next question to me from Mr. Ubaid. Mr. Ubaid, let me get this way. Munir Burhan was mentioning that 70% of business is transforming. Okay, and I believe that really the pandemic situation which we had in 2020 was accelerating, and that was said recently by Trend Micro CEO. He told that the pandemic is accelerating digital transformation, and that is leading into a spike in number of cyber attacks, launching broadened attacks in super connected cyberspace. The rise of smart devices, of course, we as a customer, our preference, our requirements is added a value to it, right? Basically, we are at risk. So what do you think? How we can ensure that cybersecurity keeps the pace with this shift?
Okay, Shajil, thank you so much for the question. It's a quite interesting and a very wide area when it comes to security. Yeah. See, I mean, as most of our members, panelists knows, like we've been talking about antivirus. Once, like probably late 90s, we considered antivirus as a security measurement for information technology. Then we evolved over a period of time. When the technology gets evolved, even the security has been started evolving on it. And I just wanted to highlight one thing. Security is not a product, it's a process. So it needs a constant update and procedures to be followed on a regular daily, weekly intervals. Yeah. Now, as we started talking about digital transformation, it's not only transforming the technology, look at it is also transforming the way we live, right? The way we think, the way we do the jobs, like the way the doctors is going to do the surgeries, because robot is going to take place on the position of doctors, is it? And the way we are going to navigate aircrafts, because the second co-pilot, third co-pilot is going to be replaced by robots. So this is the way we are going to drive the automobile, our cars. It's all going to be, so the digital transformation is not only about a digital technology adoption, it is also the way we change the influences or the way we live in this planet, right? Now, what's happening here is what we need to know basically is 60 or 70% of the populations are interconnected. We are a part of network. The moment you're carrying a mobile, you're a part of a network. You got a unique ID, right? It's a MAC ID. And we have been tracked. We can be tracked. We can be monitored by anyone in this interconnected network side. Yeah. So what happens, what I'm saying, like we have to be cautious when it comes to security, like we need to be aware what need to be exposed, what need to be shared, and what need to be protected. Yeah. So there are multiple areas. No more antivirus. Okay. Now we will be talking about malware protection, web protection, ransomware protection, privacy, malicious threats. So we are talking about different aspects of it. So my humble suggestion or a humble recommendation is, if you buy a doctor device by paying $500 or $600, make sure you put additional $50 and you get a proper security application on top of it to ensure you are being protected. Okay, there is no way that you can live without a protection. And the moment you are connected to the internet, which means you are connected to a 60 or 70% of this population who are using internet across the globe. Not everyone is, probably trustworthy. And I mean, there are elements, there are people, they're going to misuse our data, our information, and everything. So this is what I say. Security is a process. We need to have, a sort of constant update on it, and we need to have a right set of application and tools to be installed on our devices to protect ourselves from these threats. Thank you, and back to you, Shaija.
Thank you. We'll come back to Mr. Abdul Majid. Mr. Abdul Majid, what are the main barriers, the showstoppers for digital transformations? You see it, and what are them, and what culture we need to adapt for that? Mr. Abdul Majid.
Thank you. Thank you for the chance again. See, when we come to the barriers for digital transformation, let's see some statistics from Dell's Digital Transformation Index they published in 2020. According to that, out of 10, 8 organizations are fast-tracked their digital transformation in 2020. It was done a survey over 4,000 business leaders globally. And in addition to that, 89% of them said the pandemic highlighted the need for the more agile and scalable IT environment. So even though there are companies still not started to think about digitalizing their business. So there are some barriers or reasons behind that. Let's see some of them. First of all, mostly lack of budget and resources or lack of economic growth. This is the big barrier. Because of digitalizing, there are some kind of fund is required for even if we are thinking about the software and hardware, many kind of infrastructure level. And the second one is saying these points are from the same what index I'm checking out. So, and then the next one is data privacy and security concerns. That's another main concern, especially in the banking sectors. The financial institutions, they are concerned about their data and privacy of them. And lack of rights in-house skills and expertised people inside the organization. And also the weak of or lack of right or senior support leadership for the same. There are many other barriers which leading to stop for going into digitalization for many of the companies. But still, we have to think about it. Just a word to the businesses and the entrepreneurs, you should have to think about digitalizing their services in current era of internet world. Otherwise, they might be facing the similar crisis happened to Nokia phones, which we are very familiar, which was one of the leaders in mobile phone industry. I could see some interesting question during the pandemic, which was running around in social media. The question was this: who leads your company for digitalization? And the answer was coronavirus. Because of that, this pandemic, many companies, they compelled to digitalize and supporting the remote work and these kind of things. So we have to think about, and companies have to think about in that way. Many of the companies, MNCs, they are doing this now even after they are we are getting recovered from this pandemic. So if companies are not going in that way, otherwise most of the companies still have to be digitalized, and they will be, if they not, they will be running in traditional way, which is not good for them. That's a comment which I have to you. Thank you. Back to you.
We do agree that. We do agree that. I mean, we all agree that basically, like, because coronavirus definitely boost the changes nowadays. Yeah. So let me go to the next question. That is to Munir Burhan. Munir, you are mentioning that this DT, so-called digital transformation. Let me shorten it. DT. DT happened years ago. You are mentioning 1940, for example, like the calculator as an example. So we know that it's not a past, it's not a future, it's part of the present actually. So what do you think? And we as the skill force, we need to adapt to the new changes. So what do you think the modern skill force need to adapt to earn the necessary skill set? Or how do you think that today's graduate like us ensure that they have enough competitive edge to compete with the market, ongoing demands and expectations. So what do you think about that?
Thank you, Sajid, for this question. First of all, like you take any profession, whether it's a doctor or engineer or an accountant or even a salesman. Now, without a gadget of the device tools, which are basically digitalized tools, they are meaningless now. Do you agree with me? Because today the bookkeeping of accounts is not happening in the registers, where whether the patient's list or the records of the patient's history or the diagnosis are not happening in the books. Same way, things are changing rapidly. I mean, as thanks to the COVID, as my fellow panelists, they said, that definitely now we are in the fast track. Believe me, previously, when I wanted to work for a project remotely, the corporate CEOs or the organization heads or departments, they would not agree to give a project for offline or connecting from outside. Today in the era, now we are conducting classes, we are conducting meetings, we are conducting the discussion and so on, so many things on this digital era or platform. Now things have changed. Now corporates have understood that we need to move rapidly, and definitely it is not for the future, it is current, I can say. That is the thing. Coming to the second question which you asked, what is the challenge for today's generation and the graduates who are coming up? I should say that first thing is this subjects they have to include in almost all the curriculum, whether it is engineering or medical or anything. That is the first thing what universities and schools they have to do. And second good thing is the kids, they are now born and they are, before they are walking, they're having gadgets in their hand and they're understanding the technology and the data and graphical user interface, everything. They're lucky. This generation is very lucky, millennium. The most important thing is the challenge is there for this upcoming kids or graduates who are coming up. But see the figures of what USA is telling, that 4.2 trillions they are spending on IT infrastructure which is part of digital, which the enormous funds are flowing in terms of government or corporate worlds and so on. So there are a lot of opportunities for the youngsters, especially in the field of this platform, where they can cater apart from their professional platform, which is there. And now I can just tell that the bottom line is you work as anything. Today, see a layman salesman of food and beverages, he's going to the market, the device which is carrying, he's doing an online transaction so that his supervisor or regional sales manager or even the owner can see immediately where is he, what is which customer and what sale he has done. Each and everything is on the fingertip. So it is not for the future, it is for the present, because we believe in the real-time online data, online figure, online reports. Back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Munir Burhan, for your insights on this point of graduates and future generation. Well, we are also part of the graduates. Having told about graduates and future generation, we have the most important question, which most of us who has joined today would like to ask. And that question goes to Mr. T.P. Sharaf. Mr. T.P. Sharaf, there is an increasingly concern about the lack of job opportunities in the technology world, especially with the increase of artificial intelligence and robotics. It's coming forward as well. Does it really mean that the modern day changes affects the job industry? Mr. T.P. Sharaf.
Mr. Riaz, I think this is one of the what we call high demanded question nowadays when we are traveling and participating in different seminars, or when we are going to universities and organization. Normally we face this question that is regardless the country and places. See, around I think maybe by 2013, 14, 15, 16, up to 17. That is the remarkable day I marked there in 2017, the World Economic Forum. There was one crucial discussion in the Laos. And another one, the United Nations, another report also came. Almost 80% of the existing job will vanish. So, and another one hot discussion. Many organizations, especially that happened in US and in Bangalore. That is one of the largest technology job providing regions. So after that one, among the professionals and the youngsters, these questions this question that widely they shared the worries and the anxieties about this scenario. So that is the situation. I think the same situation that is echoing here in this seminar also. So I want to tell you one important thing. See, as they normal in all other segments, in technology segment, the job will vanish, but existing job or in the existing form is very important thing. So under present, job will not be vanished away. Instead, it will transform into another level. For example, people are talking about the artificial intelligence. Yes, artificial intelligence, it will take the almost all the role typically everybody is doing in all the organization. When we consider the normal business process, HR, and the customer care, that is normally the artificial intelligence, the boards and the what we call the RPA system, they will automatically will take the process and answer the customer, and widely in the front end, the repeated job, what normally we are doing, where it no need the context immediate rapid intelligence. This type of repeated job will take over by a robotic system. But when the robot deployed, that time it will bring in front of us a lot of new data. When we are getting abundant of data and we are preparing the predictive report of that one, on top of this information, our intelligence are working. So the typical network provider, the typical what we call the IT engineer, and the typical software engineer should enable or should go to the next level. They need to what we call as per the statistic report, everybody should acquire minimum 10 to 20, especially this is one of the important advice I want to give to the students who are studying for the technology or something. They should acquire minimum 10 to 20 different skill and talent is important. On top of that one, in front of them, when the dashboard gives in front of them new information, new data, from there their role is starting. They should analyze, they should take the data into the next level. So in another word, normally the data explosion and artificial intelligence system and the robotic process automation, it will generate new opportunities. As we mentioned earlier, the customers' interest and their preference is varying. It is multiplying, and based on that one, definitely we need to deploy a lot of new engineers with multiple skill and talent and updated with the new technologies. Instead of vanishing, there is a chance everybody should enable and maybe little unlearning and relearning and empower for the new era and for the new scenario. So instead of vanishing or what we call losing the job, it is transforming into next level. This is what I want to put in front of the in the audience.
Yeah, thank you for that, Sharaf. Yeah, actually, your point is very valid because it's not a threat, right? Because every time in IT industry there is a change. There was a change, and still we are living here, and there are a lot of job opportunities existing now. So every change, I too believe that there will be another door open for everyone. But we have to go always with the changes. I mean, that is more important.
We should be a little more smarter and what we call, we should actually more dynamic.
Exactly. We have to change our attitude. That is the most important thing.
Yeah, robot may challenge us, that's all.
Yeah, but we can defeat that.
Yeah, definitely.
Because we are the
no,
one.
we,
I mean, we are the one writing the code for.
Yeah, our cognitive capacity is actually several times better than any system, define the system.
Exactly. Yeah, we are writing the codes for the robots, right? So we are on top of that, definitely.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. See, the typical example is that when the IBM deployed their what we call the Watson in the oncology department, and many people that they predict a minimum one Watson system may replace 25 oncologists. But actually the oncologists, when they are getting the data from the Watson system, they can think in another way, because their cognitive capability is more what we call more powerful than any system. It is working on the 1 billion neurons.
Yeah, exactly. Well said.
Yep.
Yeah, let me move on to Sheikh Salim. Sheikh, actually, I mean, what do you call? Sharaf was discussing about AI and IoT stuff. So actually, what it is, AI and IoT blended. I mean, it's a blend. Actually, it's one product you can say. So what it is and why it matters here.
Okay, so I'm just extending what our TP Sharaf rightly said. Obviously, this artificial intelligence cannot replace human beings. But however, coming to your question, AI and IoT, why it's blended, why it matters, because today's business world is changing with adoption of Internet of Things, IoT things. IoT is helping in prominently capturing tremendous amount of data from multiple sources. However, wrapping around the multitude of data coming from different devices, it makes complex to collect, process, and analyze data. So realizing the future of full potential of IoT devices, it will require an investment in new technologies that is called artificial intelligence, what we are talking about. Okay, AI enables to create intelligent machines that stimulate smart behavior and support in decision making with little or no human interference. Because normally this IoT device will create, communicate, aggregate, and aggregate. So this is the most the work of IoT devices. It can capture data, but acting on that data, it is done by artificial intelligence. That's the reason these two are, even though it's a separate thing, they need to work together so that we can have a smart system. Now, for example, if I have to talk about cybersecurity, so there are a lot of products in the market which is coming. Look, they say that future there won't be a requirement of any cybersecurity analyst, because if you consider normal any devices like sofas or as a IoT devices which can capture data, now they are already blending AI, artificial intelligence. This artificial intelligence, they are capable of self-learning and they are self-autonomous. They can predict, oh, this attack might happen in another 30 minutes by analyzing the network. So these are all the things. That's the reason AI and IoT, when it's blended, it can unleash massive energies, So at its core, IoT is about sensors implanted into machines, even though, but AI is acting on that. I hope I have answered your question.
Yeah.
Sajal, back
yeah.
to you.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Sheikh Salim, for that.
Pleasure, Sajal.
Yeah, great to have you. I think by this we have completed our panel discussion. So we are just trying to wrap up. Collect the questions from our audience. We are getting some questions. Maybe we'll wait for 2 minutes. So
amazing. Thank you all, our wonderful panelists, for your important insights and sharing your experience on today's theme, which is digital transformation. The idea is not to go in depth of technical discussions today, but to make it more open to our general audience. So as Shaijil informed, if you have questions, please type to us, because we are running short of time, and we would be asking your question to our panelists.
Yeah, I got one question from one of my, let's say, his name is Sharif. He is from UAE. His name is Sharif. His question to you, Sheikh. Actually, you were talking about now IoT stuffs. AI and IoT will bring the fundamental changes in automotive industry, like smart cars, smart roads. So how does it going to happen? Like, you can just define as in a technical point of view, like, smart cars, this data, IoT. So, I mean, IoT means everything is, Internet of Things. So everything will be part of internet. Cars are connected. So how does this this bring a revolution in in automotive things?
Definitely, we are witnessing. Uh, I think I get echo from. I think echo from your side. Now it's fine. Yeah. So already we have witnessed this self-learning, self-driving cars from Tesla. So at least like for the most of the part, they have been successful, unless like there have been few incidents of accidents. But however, if we are really talking about on technology point of view, we use everything now as of now, because if you see Google Maps, we use same technology is adhered by this autonomous car division, and they will fix an autonomous IoT devices into the engines. It will talk to the coordinates, but accordingly it will move around. Got it. By harnessing the data, the big data already available through internet, so it will do the processing and it will move on. So that's already happening in technology level. Now we have gone beyond that. I mean, now we have uh, flying cars. Future will be like, Dubai is already adopting 2023. They're predicting they will have a flying cars from one point to another, the autonomous cars. So these all will be happening by existing technology, blending existing things. And definitely there should be a lot of test and trial must run. But I think we are almost closing to that level of advancement and sophistication where it's we are almost there in that level. So I hope this is I've answered the question. Yeah, Shajil, back to you.
Thank
We
you
have
for that.
another question, and that question comes from Sajid. The question is I would like to ask to TP Sharaf, so we can get ready with this answer. And I feel like this is very important question. There is a possible environment threat to health. We have been talking about digital transformations, and there is possibility of environment threat to health, especially like radiations, vision problems in children, and other health issues due to excess use of digital devices. And where do you foresee this, TP Sharaf, this area?
Okay, see, every time there is no technologies, mostly, especially it is addressing the each and every emerging issues. When we are moving into the massive transformation into the technology implementation, definitely that also will create new issues. For example, when normally people used to tell, when India actually when it wake up into the morning, that time it will create one of the largest nuclear bomb-like energy there in Google's data center because of the good morning message. Billions of people are sending good morning. That will generate a huge what we call heat there in the data center, because that much data is exploding within a short within 1 or 2 hours time. So see, technology definitely, when we are moving into more into technology, it will create a lot of issues. Another, for example, another area now we are talking about IoT. Each and every devices, each and every things are going to be connected. So the environmental issue has it has a multiple layer. And another one in that one again, when we are moving into the NFC, that is a near field communication. And instead of that being the tower become the transforming center, and each the device, the mobile with you and mobile with me, that itself directly it is communicating by, instead of putting a what we call transforming tower in between of the two devices. So each and every what we call transformation, new entrant, new implementation will create a lot of environmental issue. the most horrible and the dangerous thing is that creating the huge environmental wastage of the what we call unusable IT hardware materials. So when it comes, the technology, the other people in the technology ecosystem, they are bringing solution to solve these issues. Each and every problem will give us new opportunity, and it will bring a new invention, innovation, and solution. Then we will overcome. That is the history of the human civilization that we are evolving. At the same thing, it is happening in technology also. I think the carbon engineering and the what we call the refurbished industry, these are the remarkable solution in this industry to address the environmental problems and pollutions.
Yeah, thank you for that. Actually, we are running out of time, actually, so we need to wrap up. And the last and least question, that was a funny question from one of our team member. His name is Mohammad Rizwan from Qatar. So he's asking, he has a refrigerator in his home. The question goes to Ubaidullah. Ubaid, he's telling that he has a refrigerator in his home and he has some eggs. He has eggs in his basket. Okay.
Right.
So he wants some, the vendor, let's say, I don't know, the vendor in Qatar, for example, for us in Saudi Arabia, we have Al-Marai. So we want Al-Marai to call him and tell him his egg is going to finish in his basket. So do you think this is going to happen? Somebody calling and telling me, hey guy, hey dude, your egg is going to finish or your apple is going to finish, shall I deliver you? So are we going to this level?
Yeah, I mean, see, yeah, it is absolutely possible, and probably they will do something beyond what we imagine. They're not going to call us. Probably they will send the delivery directly to your doorstep, saying that, like, these are the items which are missing in your refrigerator or which are not going to finish, and this is what exactly the to refill it. They know the quantities are required, and they don't even call you because probably you will be having an agreement with them. And the delivery boy will come and knock the door, say, hey, you're going to finish your egg reserve, in your refrigerator, and this is what, like, you need to refill it. Yeah, let me add something more on it. Okay, this is a funny, but there is a serious aspect of it, right? See, there are ways where the doctors or the hospital can reach you out when you are in trouble. Probably you don't know you are in trouble, but they can mobilize an ambulance, okay, to your location, saying that, okay, you might get a heart attack and you need to be mobilized immediately to a hospital. So this connectivity world, everything is possible. Yeah, combining sort of artificial intelligence, big data analytics, and the power of IP and connectivity. Yes, absolutely. This is going to do, I mean, something we call predictive analysis, right? I mean, probably I think Sheikh has mentioned, Sharafika has mentioned, all those guys. It is a simple predictive analysis where a device could detect what is going to happen next, and it can also take an action accordingly and inform the concerned parties to act on it, right? I mean, if it is a security threat, probably, yeah, it would inform the security administrator to shut down the servers. Or if it is in a medical care, probably it will alert your immediate physician or the hospital itself. They're going to mobilize the required tools or gears to support you onto that condition. And of course, as you asked, like a funny question, I mean, any vendor could, even Lulu, for example, can gather information from your refrigerator, and they can send it back, those things to you, I mean, on your shelf. In addition, probably I just read something last week, there are robotic kitchens available, yeah, where the robot itself is going to take care of the entire preparation and the inventory of a kitchen. Just imagine. You don't need a human interference on a kitchen. So this is all going to happen. It is just a matter of a couple of years. Probably we could see before 2030, 2035. And I read a research from one of the prominent universities saying that the machine intelligence is going to override human intelligence by 2030 or 2040. Yeah. So absolutely all this is going to happen. And we are going to change the way we live, the way we communicate, the way we think, the way we learn, the way we work, the way we do things. Yeah. So Shajal, back to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for all our important questions from our audience today, and also our dear panelists for answering them. It's time to close, and we would like to call back our wonderful Zoom master, Rubish. Mr. Rubish, the stage is back to you, Mr. Rubish. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Riaz, for an excellent session, and all the panelists and Mr. Shajil.
I thank today's guest, Mr. Munir Farhan, the panelists, Mr. Baidullah Charandudiga, Mr. Sheikh Salim, Mr. T.P. Sharfuddin, Mr. Abdul Majid, and our moderators, Mr. Shahjal Malatik, Mr. Riaz Ibrahim Gudi. I also want to thank the people who worked to execute this event. Thank you one and all for the cooperation. With this, we come to the end of this TechTalk. We're looking forward to more events like this. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.